Hey everybody, welcome to our team meeting. I can see all of the messy stuff on my desk is showing. So let's adjust my camera so you can't see any of it. Oh, perfect. Haha, I thought you might find that funny. Okay, so our team make and take packet is going to look like this. Pull everything out. And it's not really in much of an order this month, so if you don't pull it all out together, that's okay. So you're going to have some linen thread, which is one of my favorite things in the whole world. I use it a ton. You're going to have a bunch of pieces here, and I'll go through those in a second. You've got 5 note cards and envelopes in Very Vanilla. You've got a quarter package of the Gilded Autumn DSP. And then you've also got 3 6x6 sheets of that beautiful brushed metallic cardstock and 1 paper pumpkin box. So we're going to use this box to create our little boxed card set. So to start, we want to put that together. So we're going to kind of fold on the score lines and get our box all set. We did a little bit of that for you so we could get it in our packet, just nice, which is perfect. And then what you want to do is put this together. So one more fold to fold. Okay, so I'm going to put these 2 pieces together like this, and then this flap is going to lock in on both sides and hold the box basically together. Notice the clicking noise that it makes. That is important because that means it's in these little slots, and then that'll hold everything together. Okay, so that is our box. It's awesome. Now what we're going to do is take a little of that DSP from our packet and cut it up so that we can decorate our box. All right, so I'm going to start with a piece of this pattern of paper and cut it to 3 1/4 by 5. Okay, and this is 6-inch paper, so I'll just cut 1 inch off like that. And then this piece is going to adhere to this piece of early espresso that you've got, and it should mat really nicely. So we'll put that together like so. You also have a bunch of die cut and punched pieces, and those will be used to create our different pieces as well. Now, the first thing you want is choose one of your metallics. It really doesn't matter which one. You just got to remember where you put them. Because literally I had these in my hands 2 seconds ago, and I've already lost them. Seriously, how did I do that? And it's live, so I can't just like stop my video and look for them. I seriously can't believe I just lost the paper. Oh, it's under my printer. Are you guys like screaming at home? Oh, I would be. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take, I think this one. This is like, I can't remember the names they use for these, but I need a 1 by 5. So I'll just cut that at 1 inch, and then I'll cut another inch off like so. Those are like measurements if you're using this little trimmer that doesn't measure out past 4 1/4. That's why I'm giving you kind of the interesting way to measure those in case you were wondering. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere this right smack dab in the middle like so. Okay, I also have 2 die cut pieces. These are from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. One is in Early Espresso and one is in Very Vanilla. And I'm going to take my stamp set. I'm using the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. You can substitute for other sentiments. We will be stamping and die cut or punching some of the leaves and things in here, but generally speaking, you can kind of do whatever works for you. If you don't have this set, don't worry about it. No biggie. If you don't have the punches, also no biggie. You can substitute for other things and that will work just fine. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this in some Early Espresso ink on here, and it says, "My heart is grateful for you." And I kind of love that sentiment. It's just a nice thing to say to somebody, I think. Okay, I will attach that to my larger label like that. And then I'm going to pop this up onto my box top, and I'll use a few dimensionals for that. Now, I think these make and take projects would make an outstanding class. I highly recommend that. Your customers can easily make these projects. You could make it a product-based class where they order the note cards, envelopes, the DSP, the metallics, and a set of these boxes, or you could just give them one box and then they can make their cards. You know, it's really up to you how you would like to do that. Oh, and the linen thread. So it's a great way to offer the class. You can also just write up basic tutorials on how to do this, or you can shoot videos and include that with your class if you're going to do it virtually, or of course if you're able to do things in person where you live, you can go ahead and do that as well. So whatever is working in your area is perfect for you. Okay, I am also going to take some, I'm going to take some Earliest Espresso. You've got a half a sheet of Very Vanilla cardstock as part of your pieces that were included in your kit. And I'm going to take and stamp one of each of the outline images. So I'm going to take the acorn, the maple leaf, and the oak leaf. I'll stamp each of those and then punch them out with my punch pack, which is oh so handy. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and I didn't even think about whether I'm doing these in the right direction. I think I am, but if not, we'll just cut the piece. Oh yeah, we're good. So if I would have stamped this upside down, I could just have trimmed off, you know, this hunk and then flipped it around and punched. So that works just fine. Now, if you don't have these punches, what you can do is take some of the pieces from the printed paper that are in there, and you can fussy cut these images out of your printed paper. So you don't actually have to have this stamp set to make these projects at all. They're easily done with the printed paper. You just got to cut them out. That's all. Okay, now I'm going to arrange these on my card here. I will put glue dots, or I will use glue dots to put them on with, and I'll just kind of tack one there, and this one right here, and then the acorn right on top, like this. Right here. And then to make it a little bit nicer, we'll take some linen thread. I have a spool that's open already that I'll use, and you can even double this up and add the a double bow. Okay, so I'll just tie a bow with two lengths of linen thread cut together, and then you can just kind of mess with the with the bow until it's the size that you'd like. And then again, I'll take and glue dot this right onto my card. So real simple. And I said card, I meant my box. So there's my box ready to go. Now, of course, you could do different colors here, whatever, you know, it's up to you. You could also add pieces of printed paper to the edges, but I really like the simplicity of this. So I'll set that aside, and now we're going to make the cards to put inside. So again, this is really simple. Much of this is actually not done for you, but like in process. For lack of a better explanation. So I will take and stamp my sentiment here, thank you, at the bottom of this label. This is from the Celebration Labels dies that are in the holiday catalog. So I'll stamp that in Early Espresso at the bottom here. And then I'm going to take my scrap and stamp and punch 3 leaves. So I can use Old Olive. I think I'm going to use some Cajun Craze, and I'll use some crumb cake. Change up the colors just a little bit so it's not all brown, you know. But that means I need to clean my stamps real quick. So I will grab my chamois. Oh, I love my chamois. It's just so handy to have. Okay, so I'm going to take and do my crumb cake acorn, my Old Olive oak leaf, and a Cajun Craze leaf. Now I could also stamp the coordinating solid pieces in here if I wanted, just to add some more interest. For the sake of time, I'm just going to punch these out and add them to my project because it's pretty easy to do. So there's one. Also, I find that oftentimes when I punch these, they land on my boob. So if you can't find yours, maybe check that spot. You might be surprised. Also, you're welcome. Okay, so I've got those, and let's put this together on here. So what I want to do is just kind of arrange them the way I'd like them before I start adhering them. And I think I will pop each of these up because I think that's just easy to do. And for that, I will use some mini dimensionals because some of these, it's hard to find an area big enough for a regular sized dimensional on here. Okay, so there's one, and this one actually I think can use a regular sized dimensional. There we go. So I like to start with my center acorn first, just because it's easy to kind of get that lined up in the center, and then you can kind of evenly space them. If you start on one end, then they can get out of alignment, I find. So that works pretty well. Anyway, all right, now we're going to put this on one of our note cards. So we'll need to take and cut some DSP to fit on one of our note cards. I love these because they're pre-scored. I also hate them because they're pre-scored. If they're off, it makes me crazy. So I just thought I'd throw that little nugget of information out. Now I need to cut a piece of DSP that's 3 by 4.5 to fit on here. And I'm going to use this houndstooth pattern, which is kind of fun. Now the other nice thing about this size is you can get 2 out of a sheet of cardstock. So 3 by 4.5. I'm eyeballing this a little. I'm pretty good at measuring. And then, perfect. It looks great. Now the other thing that you can do with the DSP is you can line the envelope flap. So to do that, what I'm going to do is put some DSP on my flap. I did put kind of a lot on there. And I'm going to simply line this up on here like so. And then I will trim my cardstock. Okay, so I just have it right on the edge. And then I find it's really simple to just trim this excess. Now, I'm not going to show you all the envelopes lined, but that's just how you do it. So it's real simple to do. And then you just use the edge of the envelope as your guide for cutting these. Now, there is a set of dies in the holiday catalog that does this, but they add a little scallop edge, and you might want that and you might not, you know. So there we go with that. Isn't that cute? And this, by the way, just makes the cutest little card set. This would also be, so I'm going to tie a bow on here and finish up my card. But I also wanted to talk about a couple other ways you could use this in in your business. So one way would also be to offer this as a gift with a purchase. I would definitely say you would want it to be a pretty substantial purchase, like $75 to $100, and then you could give them the items to make this. Now, I would include just the pieces of DSP that they need and just the pieces of or just the note cards, so that you're not giving them everything. Like, I kind of included some product with it. I would definitely make sure they use their order on a host code, because then you can use those benefits to get the DSP pack that you need and whatnot to offer this class. But otherwise, it's pretty minimal in terms of what you have to prep for it. And that's one of the things I liked about it, because I prepped a whole bunch of kits for you guys for our make and takes for this month. So it helps me to have an easy prep packet for you as well. Okay. And then again, you could offer this, for a fee. So isn't this just like the cutest card ever? All right. And then it's going to go in our box. Okay, let's make our next card. Oh, this one is truly gorgeous. So I took and embossed this on a piece of very vanilla cardstock. That's the Evergreen folder from the holiday catalog. And we're going to just adhere that onto our card. Okay. And I'm going to put my adhesive on the card itself, only because I don't want to smoosh the beautiful embossing that's on here. Okay, so cute. I'm also going to take and stamp my sentiment on my scrap paper and then trim off the edge. When I do that, it'll look fantastic. Okay. And I say that because I love the look of a little sentiment strip, and it's just easy to create. I like to use my leftover strips from trimming cardstock in the first place for this process as well. And I do end up with quite a few of those, as you might imagine. So I'm going to cut this to be roughly 1/2 inch. I'm not measuring. And then what I will do is take, and actually I'll trim that just a little shorter. I'm going to leave some room. So I want this to be about 4.5 inches. Again, I kind of eyeballed that. I'm going to leave some room on the edge so that I can attach it with a couple of punched pieces. Now these you can get from your DSP, or you can stamp them out. It's up to you. So I'll show you what it's like to grab them from the DSP pack. Okay, so have a beautiful day. That's just so nice. And then in our punch pack, we want to get, there's a couple different pieces that you can use. So you have to decide if you want color or metallics. So this one has the metallic pieces, and then this one has the colored pieces. So I think, actually, I kind of like the idea of the metallics on here. So I'll use that. And you just want to look for one, and you might need to cut into this a bit. So I want one leaf and one acorn. So I'm just going to pull those pieces out and go ahead and punch. Make sure you're leaving enough room, to get around the image. There's one, and I knew that was going to be wrong. Let's see if this will reach. Nope. So then we'll just kind of cut that off and punch. Okay, now I'll take these two beautiful pieces and adhere them to my card. And oh, this makes just a gorgeous classic card with these beautiful images. And then one last thing, I'll attach a bow with my linen thread. And for this, we'll just do a little bow. So you definitely want some glue dots and some mini dimensionals to have on hand for this. Now for this, I'll just roll my dimensional up like a log and place it down. Oh, that did not just happen. I pulled the wrong little thing. Let's see if I can get this back out. Well, that jacked up my bow pretty good. Let's see if we can do it again. I don't know. The glue dot's still on there, so we'll see how much a problem that causes. I might need to just start over. Plus, I've touched the dot so many times, who knows if it's still sticky. I think I'll just grab another. Well, that was unfortunate. There we go. And isn't that just a gorgeous card? Oh, I love it. Okay, next up, we're going to take this label, and then we need to cut another piece of paper to 3 by 4.5 again. And for that, I'm going to use another one of the metallics. This time, it will be that piece. Stripes on the back. Okay, so 3 by 4.5. Oh, I can take, let's see, 1.5 inches off. That'd work. I don't have to eyeball it. Duh. Sometimes I wonder about myself. I also find that when I'm working, my brain power, when my video camera is rolling, my brain power turns off a little bit. It's just part of the deal. Okay, so I'll give that a good crease. We'll adhere this to our card. And then I'm going to stamp Grateful for You again, because I just really like that sentiment. Oh, that is so not the right size, though. Let's see if I can get that off. There, I think we're okay. Well, somehow I messed that up. I should have eyeballed it, huh? Okay, so there we go. And then, like I said, I've got my label here. So I can, again, stamp my sentiment. It'll fit nicely on here. This is the Everyday Label Punch. Okay. And I'm going to also need a piece of metallic here. I think I'm going to use copper. Now, one alternative that you could do is if you didn't want to use this brushed metallic paper, you could include some just copper foil paper, and that's a little bit less expensive. It would just be the copper, of course, but another alternative that's also good if, I'm going to go all the way across here. That's also good in case this were to go on back order or something in the course of your holding your event, because that can happen sometimes too. So I'm always looking for alternative ways to use my same supplies in a different way. And then I'll take and add a bow to this. Now you could also embellish with a punched leaf if you wanted. I think actually maybe I will add a solid punch. So obviously this is something you can do if you've got the punches. If you don't, you could substitute something else. So, oh, actually, well, that should still work. Let's see. I used copper, so let me take a little piece of my copper and just punch that out in the corner right there. And I'll tack that down and then add my bow over the top with another glue dot. And again, for all of these, I would take the piece of printed paper that I'm using and add that coordinating flap on my envelopes. Okay, oh, so pretty. All right, next up, we're going to take a piece of printed paper to be 3 by 4.5 once again. And for this one, I'm going to use those leaves that are on here like this. So 3 by 4.5 again. And then I will also, actually, I'll be up in like a couple minutes, sweetie. Or are you guys done?
We're done.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. That was my husband bringing me dinner. Okay, I've got a piece of crumb cake cardstock that we'll attach this to, like so. And then I'm going to adhere this to another one of my cards, like so. And then we're going to take and stamp a sentiment on our scrap paper. And I think I'm going to use the Life is Better with You. Change it up again because we've used these a little bit here and there. Okay, I'll stamp this just like before in, sorry, I'm trying to decide what block to put this on. I'll stamp this like I've done with the others in my early espresso. Okay, that looks great. And once again, we will trim. Okay, I've got that on there. I think my sentiment was on there a little bit crooked. Now, that looks great. I also want to add a little piece of brushed cardstock. So I'll just take a scrap and I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch. So that is actually going to be just the silver part of my trimmer here. And I want it to be just a little longer than my sentiment. So let's measure my sentiment. I think that's about 2 2¼ inches. So I'm going to make this 2.5 plus a little. That's what you call official measurement. Okay, so I'll just put that on here like so. And then you know what? I put this on, but I think I was supposed to not. That's all right. I'll pop this up. The reason I say that is I probably could have tied the twine around my card, but again, not a huge deal. I'll put this on here like that. We're going to center it and everything though, just for you guys. And then we'll add another linen thread bow. I picked the linen. Now another option, you wanted to make spendier customer, you could the ribbon combo pack that coordinates with this DSP. That would be, you know, an upsell. And then, you know, you could have them make more than one boxed set of cards. If they got a full set of boxes and a full set of note cards, they could make several of these boxes, and that would be really fun. Great for gift giving during this holiday season. So, you know, a nice Thanksgiving hostess set or something for a friend. Okay, so there's another card, and we've got one more. And this one I kind of just threw in there. You could get a little creative, but I'll show you an example of one of the things that you could do. So for this one, I'm going to take my green paper. I love, this is one of my favorite patterns. There's another green one that's really pretty too. But we'll cut this to be 3 by 4.5. Once again, I'm like my eyeballing. And I'm going to attach that to my card. Like so. It's just simple and pretty. And then I will take my sentiment and, ooh, you know what I think I could do? There's a small sentiment. Hey there. We could stamp that And then I could just put either a real skinny strip on here, or I could use, I've got a classic label. I could just punch that out from my scrap. One of the things, I know that last card, the sentiment was a little crooked. If you put it on your work surface and then pick it up with your block, sometimes that works to keep it more straight, which is helpful. So here we go. So I can punch that out. And then pop this up onto my card. I can use a little edge piece. And then I'm going to add some punched pieces from my metallics right on top. Okay, so for that, ooh, I've got this little piece here. I could make use of this, of course, if I could pick it up. That's the trick. Let's see. I'll do, there we go. Boom. That one really went flying. You could do one or several or more of these. I might just do one. But you could do all three if you wanted on here, but I kind of like that. And then, you guessed it, we're going to add a bow. So the great thing about this is you've got all the supplies now to make more of these. You could make this as a little hostess gift. You could set up, you know, a little packet for your hostess who hosts a catalog party or a in-person party, if you can do those. You could do this as a class with your customers. Classes are much more successful if you have a customer base to invite them from. This is something you could do with your family as like a Thanksgiving activity when you gather for Thanksgiving, because hopefully we'll gather for Thanksgiving this year and be thankful that the year's almost over. You know, whatever you want to do. It would also be a really nice customer appreciation activity for your customers, that they could create these projects. So lots of, in fact, I think I might do this in my VIP group. So lots of different options here. I hope you've loved these cards. I'm going to take all of my cards now, and of course I've got the coordinating envelopes. I didn't actually decorate them all quite yet, but I've got those envelopes, and then I can just place them inside my box. And loving it. A really nice gift to give to someone. So there you go. So I hope you've loved these projects. I will probably not create a PDF for this, but I would be happy to take the photos and include the dimensions that you might need to create this yourself. So I hope you enjoyed these projects. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye.